everyone, welcome to this podcast for worry painters. My name is Q and I'm working for Netflix animation.
Hi, my name is Nikita. I'm currently working in Calvin as a background designer. Today, the two guest speakers, Saiping and Calvin. Both of them were born in Guangdong, China. They came to US in the 80s. They both work in animation for a long time. Now they are pursuing fine art and full-time. Would you guys like to give us a brief introduction about yourself?
My name is Saiping Lok. I came from Guangzhou, China in early 80s. I went to Pasadena Art Center for the illustration, but I did not graduate because I ran out of money. And then I go to Cal State Long Beach for another year, but also I did not graduate because my teacher introduction to animation business. So before I graduation, I worked for a smaller studio. I took a test from Disney feature animation, and 1 year later, I got in. I worked for Disney feature animation in 1993, September.
I'm Calvin. I'm so happy to be here to with you guys together and talk about the animation, the fine art, and Canton, China. I came to United States in 1987. That time I get the foreign student visa and go to San Francisco Academy of Art College in San Francisco. Before I do the animation, I moved to Los Angeles in 1987 because I know nothing about animation. I get take a one semester for the animation training in the North Hollywood, the art school. After that, I get a job in Disney TV television studio and I worked for about 2 years. Then I moved to the Nickelodeon, doing the SpongeBob SquarePants for 5 years. I'm the original guy that hired in the SpongeBob SquarePants show, and after working for 5 years, because at the time, my fine art market is really good for me and it's selling really good. I don't have much time to handle the animation and the fine art together. That's why I quit the job in animation in 2002. Until now, I'm doing all fine art in my studio.
Awesome. And how you guys know each other? I know you guys been friends for a long time.
Because we're under the same friend circle.
Yeah, all under friend circle, and I met Saiping in my house. Yeah, 1997.
Oh wow!
What day? What month?
Yeah, let's talk more about your journey. Very interesting about especially from your early days, moving from China to US and then later switching from animation to fine art. We were just wanting to know, I had the same experience. I'm also from China, and then I wanted to know when you guys get to from early age, how you guys get into art, how you guys learning art in China. How was it like? Are you studied art only in US or you studied art in China too? And how was it when you studied art in your early age?
In my situation, is no good for me studying art in China because I did not touch any artwork in China at all because at that time, after high school graduation, it's a government assignment, work for a shipping company, work as a clerk. I hate that job.
Okay.
I tried to get in art school, but the art school, a prestige art school in my hometown, which me and Sito and many outstanding Chinese people, they graduated from that school. I tried 3 times, but all failed because the test is so really grueling. 5-day test. 1 day for drawing a man's head drawing. 2nd day, color painting, painting a still life. 3rd day, a storyboard testing.
Storyboard?
Storyboard, yeah.
Wow.
Very all-rounded. And the 4th day, literature. 5th day is political science, something like that.
So you also need to writing things for
Exactly. All around the entrance test, I failed 3 times because I started too late. I didn't get someone lead me into the right track in 22 or 23. And when I failed 3 times, I reached the age limit. At that time, all Chinese art school at the age limit, age 25. I think I have no more chance for me in China. So I tried my luck in United States. Since my brother already here, so I came to Los Angeles in the last day of 1982. Go to adult school learning English and go to PCC full-time curriculum while I work for as an auto mechanic. Totally nothing to do with what I'm doing. And later I get a job in downtown LA. It's an architecture rendering company. At that time, I think I have no hope for me to get in any art field because I thought I did not have a formal training. I failed 3 times. How can I have a chance to make a living in art? No way, I thought.
So when was that? How old were you when you think about this? When you're working as a mechanic?
29 or 30 years old at that time.
Okay.
And then I think I better get a field that close to any art field. I think, architecture rendering is not bad, right? I think the project is from those very famous architect, Chinese architect. His name is I.M. Pei. There's a project involving the biggest project in the nation. Eventually, 1 year later, I hate that job. Since you don't like a job, of course, your performance wasn't good, right? I got laid off. And then I go to art center. Again, I only study 1 year. I run out of money, and I go to Cal State Long Beach, study illustration. I asked my teacher that, do you think I have to wait until graduation for me to get a job? He told me that, no, it depends what job are you seeking. If you're looking for professor, like a teaching position, yes, you need a diploma. But if you get a job in animation, no, your portfolio good enough. My teacher gave me a bunch of his former student name and phone number. I call them one by one. And then I get a hope some of the people in animation business in the small studio. And also one of the people working for Disney feature animation. Give me a test. A test is a copy of background painting from Aladdin. They give me the sample. They want to mix the color, edges, everything exact the same. The closer, the better. I almost spent 3 days for the test. The 4th day I turned it in, and the next week, the manager of HR called me. He said, you beautifully passed the test, but we have no opening. I thought, just another waiting game for me, right? So I forgot about it, and then I worked for a smaller studio. And 1 year later, Bill Matthew, he's the Disney feature animation manager of HR. He called me again. He said, we want to see your portfolio one more time. Do you have any Oriental stuff? I thought, I have. I just finished 4 illustrations for my Cal State Long Beach illustration project. That project is you paint 4 illustrations representing a country. The 4 paintings, one is architecture, another one is a costume, another one is a food, the last one is an animal. So I do 4 paintings. One painting, a gray wall, another painting, the Peking duck.
Oh, you still remember?
Another painting is a Beijing opera.
Okay.
And the last painting is a panda.
Oh, nice.
And then submitted the Disney feature animation. 1 week later, I get a call from a director. They hire me. From then on, I started work for Disney feature animation for over 18 years. The movie including Mulan, Atlantis, Brother Bear, the Prince and the Frog, both, and Plane, Lion King, you name it. It's a long story. Anyway, I learned a lot from. I feel very grateful and lucky to be able to work as a development artist. My responsibility just doing color key only, nothing else.
Oh, it's a dream job.
Dream job. Every time, every morning I woke up, I didn't believe what I'm doing because I can't believe it. I can as an artist, make a living to raise my family. Every day I woke up, I don't believe what I'm doing.
That's great. That's great. How about Calvin? What's your early days like?
When I finished my high school, and I'm lucky, the Canton Opera Institute, they have an opening. I get past the test. They hire me, and I'm working for the Canton Opera Institute, and for about several years. Then I have the chance to go to Shanghai Academy of Fine Art to continue study for the painting.
So you were
And
as a painter for the theater. Oh,
at the theater, yeah, right.
oh, so you were doing like what kind of painting when you was like
The set design.
that design? Oh, that
Yeah,
sounds
the set design. I'm the set designer before I come to United States. And I after I studied at the Shanghai Academy of Fine Art, then I come back to Canton Opera Institute to work for several years. Then I get a foreign student visa in San Francisco. That's why I moved from China to San Francisco. I continue study for the fine art because the tuition is too high, and at the time, and the other way, my English is not so well. I gotta continue to improve my English. That's why I go to the ESL class. I start to paint the painting to submit to the gallery before I moved to Los Angeles doing the
so
animation.
you're already selling paintings.
Yeah, selling the painting in the gallery. Then I submit some painting to Carmel, and I doing some local art show. I like it. It's just make money for living. Then I moved to Los Angeles in 1997 because at that time I heard about like a Ping and somebody else and like a Lin that they said they're doing the animation that's really good, and the market at that time was really popular, very hit for the animation. They needed a lot of artists. That's why I quit the job, moved all the way from San Francisco to Los Angeles, then take a once a master to get the technique for the animation, how to use the brushes, how to paint the background. Then I got the test from the Disney TV television. Then I get passed. Then I'm working for the animation, The Little Mermaid DVD for about 2 years because they moved all the project to Ohio. That's why they lay out all the people, all my crew laid out. Then that's why I moved from Disney to Nickelodeon and doing the SpongeBob SquarePants until I quit the job in 2002. When I working for the animation, I keep painting all the time. I use the weekend, holiday, even in the evening. Every time I keep painting my final painting to submit to the gallery. The market is so good for me. Then every painting I submit to the gallery to sold. Make me too busy. I have to choose only one because I have no time impossible the whole for both job, animation and the fine art. That's why I quit the animation. The difference between the animation painting and the fine art painting for me, the big difference. The animation, I have to follow the script, follow the idea of the director. But I'm working for my own painting. What I love to do. I don't need to follow somebody's idea. I can do it for what I want.
Wow, is it same for you, typing? Do you have the similar experience?
My experience is a little bit different because I work for my dream job in Disney feature, which considered the top standard in the business.
Sure.
Also, my job nothing to do with any production. My job totally involved design, exploration, different possibilities for the movie. For example, when I work for Mulan and Atlantis, all the directors just give me suggestion what this episode about. Let me read the story, the script, and then he just tell me you create a happy move or scary move or this tell me this establishing shot for the whole sequence, very important, etc., something like that. No time limit. Give me one painting for 3 or 4, even 5 different possibilities. That means give me a lot of freedom to explore disability, from style to color, from different type of day or different season of the year. All I can do. So only lacking is your imagination. Money, budget is never be a problem for Disney feature. At that time, I worked very, very hard. I know my background. I did not receive any formal education in art field. I say to myself, I have to catch this golden opportunity to my career. I have to work harder than anybody else. After work, I go out to paint because at that time, 6 o'clock is still bright enough for me to do a small painting, like a 6 by 8. At least we do 3 or 4 paintings a week. and also using all my vacation, go to take all the workshop held by those fire master like Clyde Asperry, Scott Christensen, etc. And also Jim Wilcox. When those people are using all my vacation to learn from those people. Animation and fire come hand in hand to me naturally. Time is so sensitive. My director want me to see your painting literally can tell the story without saying anything. I get a performance review. I remember my review saying that Saiping's uncanny color inspired the whole department. That's what made me the most satisfied when I work for this in the future. At that time, when I'm painting enough outdoor experience, I want to go bigger size painting. 2000, I already joined the California Art Club. I actively involved in all the art club activity. 2004, I submit a painting for the Bowers Museum painting landscape competition. My painting awarded the first place. I was purchased the award. That painting was kept in the museum permanently. That gave me the great confidence to go to fire. In my case, I fully appreciate my job because I learned from so many outstanding artists in my studio. I benefit the most from my job is design and the principle of simplification and less is more. At that time, I didn't know the value of it until later.
What do you think is like still some like a difference between working for animations and now you're like also selling paintings as fine art artist?
The difference, Calvin Liang already pointed out already, you fire being your own boss. But the challenging is when you work for a studio, work for the animation business, you get paid regularly. When you work in fire, being on your own, yeah, you get the freedom. But also you are restricted by the fire market. You have to very disciplined, very challenging because I put it this way, animation, several development artists, Q and me and Nikita, working on the same project. Let's say Friday, have a development meeting. Three of us put the same subject put on the board by the director and art director review. Of course, those art director and director pick the best one, right? To better fit in that movie, fit in that episode. Those works no good will be eliminated, but you still get paid. You still get a job, right? Mm-hmm. But in fine art, every painting, in order to be able to please your character, every painting you have to be very well executed, very well designed. That's a difference. Do I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you so much.
So next question I have is, I know both of you guys are teaching. Would you guys like to talk a bit about how did you guys started teaching and what do you enjoy the most about teaching? Can we start with you, Calvin?
Okay, the first workshop for me is in 2003, the California Art Club. They set up the workshop for me. The location on Pasadena, the Eden Canyon. 3 days workshop. Each day morning, during the talking, doing the demo. And the student was really enjoy to look in the demo what I do. Then after the demo, then I go each time to talking to the students, share my experience, how you're working the life from the pioneer. And since the workshop is doing successful and I feel a little happy about it, then California Art Club continue to set up my second, third, fourth workshop for me because a lot of students, more and more workshop, more experience I have it, and I'm more interested doing the workshop because why? When I do the workshop, when I teaching the student, I still learn a lot of questions. I can see a lot of different ways to working for the same subject, and I learn a lot from the student. That's why more and more I teaching and more I enjoy. I combine my experience for the art school, animation, workshop teaching, little by little build up my own style. In the final market, they really need your own style, the signature style. The teaching, they helping me a lot.
That's awesome.
So I really enjoy them.
How about you, Simon?
To me, teaching is I learn a lot from the teaching because basically I realize when I work for Disney feature, I basically follow the instruction and put my knowledge, put my understanding to my work. Teaching just a reversal. I put my knowledge, my understanding, especially some ambiguous idea in my mind to verbalize it. Also, when I'm teaching, I see so many different level of a student. Some are good, some are not very good, some are very much higher level, some are medium. I can learn from somebody have a very good style, good color sense. Also, I learned to avoid somebody make a mistake, so that in turn to improve my work. Yeah, that's what I learned from teaching.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. And we want you to discuss different aspects like making art in like uncertain times, like right now during the COVID. Nikita, do you want me to ask this question?
Yeah, we want to know like what are some obstacles you have faced in your life. From the previous conversation, we know that you guys all went through a lot to get to where you are today. So would you like to share what are other obstacles you have met, and how did you guys overcome them?
I think from animation, I get a long transition for me to go into the final market. I think a lot of obstruction for me to overcome. In animation, you can have your own strong style because you have to follow the script.
Follow the style of the animation.
Yeah, because if you just working for your own style, I think the director might be fire you. We don't need you because everybody gotta follow the script.
Yes.
Idea for the whole crew. But the final market totally different. If you don't have your own style, I think the gallery they don't want you. Why they need the same artist in the gallery? Because they have the same thing. So that's a really big different thing for me struggling the transition from animation to the final market. Many times I'm struggling thinking why the gallery people doesn't feel happy about my painting. It's not the skill. Sometimes the subject. Finally, I figure out, oh, okay, in the market, you have to have your own idea. At the time before the market, I keep painting the seascape because I really love the seascape. And I know something about the market, some experience for me. In the final market, you have to work in something you feel really, really interesting, you really love. Then you can do the good job for the thing you love. That's why I just keep painting a lot of seascape. Then more and more I paint, more experience I have it, then the stronger style, a little bit of the pop. Then the gallery, they feel happy about it. Also, when I get into the final market, I have a lot of things for me to improve. And like the transition from the seascape to the cityscape, why I got a transition to the different subject? Because if you only working for the one subject, for the artist, it's kind of boring for the whole life. I try to do everything, I love it. But the style is not the subject. The style is the design, is your own ideas. That's why when I teaching the people in the workshop, I just keep telling the student, painting is not painting the subject, it's painting the idea. Why the collector, they collect your painting, the same subject, like the same people that paint the Laguna Beach. Why the people that buy Simon Love's Laguna Beach, they buy Q's Laguna Beach, they buy Calvin Liang's Laguna Beach, they not only buying the Laguna Beach, they will try to collect the Calvin Liang's Ice Laguna Beach. That's the main question for me to juggling. So I think for the final whole life, you got to overcome for every problem. You got to figure out the problem, then improve and improve. Yeah, never stop to improve.
Yeah, I think you already have your own styles. Like I can tell this painting is from Calvin Liang, even though I didn't see your signature, but I can tell this is from Calvin Liang. So are you still trying to improve your personal style?
Yeah, of course. And I think I still improve every time. even continue for until my whole life. Like before, when I get into the market, I more consider the 3D in my painting. Now I try to combine the 3D and the 2D in my painting, more stronger abstract, the abstract shape to make a stronger color, the design, then more 3D. That's why it's still struggling.
How about Simon?
Well, I do not have such intensive experience as Calvin. My experience, most of them from my job requirement. So my first approach to my painting is make my painting more atmospheric look. And then recently, I much emphasize on the design and stylized landscape approach. Meanwhile, I will try to refine my figure painting skill too. I want to eventually, I will combine the two into my painting. I know I still a long way to go. It's very difficult. I realize that the figure painting is a little bit different from landscape painting. It's a different mindset, a different requirement, different way of execution. Well, I just painting what I like. Yeah, I will combine my animation experience, my outdoor experience into my fire paintings. That's my goal.
Cool. Do you think you guys like I know you guys having like a similar group of friends like a art community. Do you think this art community like support you guys during the difficult times? And then also I know you guys are all like California Art Club members. Do you think like a art community helps during your career?
Oh, of course, of course. Now I'm the member for the OPA and the California Art Club, American Impressionism Society, and the Maritime Fine Art Society. 5 member for me. Also the La Collaborative Pioneer. And I think that kind of art communities was really helping because every different art community, they have an annual year's exhibition. Different community, they have different style, different subject, different idea. So I can submit the different show, then I can still keep in my stronger style. That's really important. Now I'm so happy because I have so many different art group. I can submit all over the country. I can paint everything.
For typing, do you have different opinions?
Well, I of course, the having a surrounded by your friend circle in an artist community is very important to my artist career development because I constantly need feedback to improve my quality, to understand what aspects should I improve. I'm the guy who's very, very picky, I want to try picky to every aspect, the way execution, the color, design, everything. I think having a friend circle, you can enrich your communication, your color, vocabulary, your thinking, everything, every aspect of your business. Just like I make a lot of improvement when I work for Disney feature animation. The same thing is true when you work for fine art business. You need a lot of friends, encouragement. You need a friends in critique. You need a lot of information. For example, where they have a show, where's the good workshop, or where's a good museum for you to submit artwork, etc., etc. Those information.
I see. Yeah, I want to ask more about the fine art business. Like, do you guys have any suggestions for people like us working in animation but still enjoying to doing fine art painting, now wanting to work for fine art, wanting to get into the galleries? Do you have any advice?
First, you work for a good studio. Secondly, you work for a good subject, good movie is directly beneficiary to your career. Different studio have a total different style. For example, Warner Brother and the Cartoon Network, they don't like those people from Disney feature, and vice versa. So you work for different studio directly affect your career direction. That's my opinion. Secondary, there are no contradiction between your animation job and your fine art. What you have to do is follow your own heart, working harder. Two careers can benefit to each other. there's no conflict, from my opinion.
I agree for the Simon said about the animation, how the different then find a market. When I have some experience working for the Disney, but when I moved to the Nickelodeon, the SpongeBob, because a totally different style, is kind of from the beginning for me, from the zero again. That's the only difference between the fine art, because I like the fine art. I build up my own style. I have my own language for the fine art. I submit the painting to the gallery. Even that gallery, they close, they bankrupt. I submit my painting to the other gallery, but I don't need to think about the beginning. I still use the same thing. I can working for every gallery, every museum show, every fine art group show. I just continue from the stage, you see, to build it up. The animation, every show you got to move, you got to from the beginning. That's the only difference between the animation and the fine art. That's why I'm more enjoyable doing the fine art. I don't need to jump in a different studio, the different show from the beginning. I just continue, do the job. I just get improve, that's it.
And also, let me make another example. Different movie, the different style, sometimes very difficult for me to shift gear. Now, when I come to think of it, actually, it's a beneficiary to my career. That give me the more versatile, more adaptability to fit in different situations. The animation and fine art, they really help each other. There's no contradiction.
Cool.
Yeah,
We have some question from the audience who would like to ask you. So they were asking that when you guys were working on animation, you guys were doing mainly traditional, or you guys had to adapt to Photoshop?
Okay, I think when I worked for Disney feature, that the whole studio wasn't computerized until 2002. Before that, all painting, animation, layout, every aspect of the animation business are hand drawn. But after 2002, the whole studio computerized, 2D, 3D, you name it. Yeah, it take a learning curve for everybody to adapt to the new technique, new technology.
When I working for the Disney, the Little Mermaid is a totally traditional handmade. But when I moved to Nickelodeon, at that time, about 50% handmade, then scan them in the computer. I gotta finish the whole background painting from the computer. I learned the Photoshop in Nickelodeon. When I back to my studio working for my own fine art, I can use the same Photoshop skill to get the great creation for my photo before I paint. I think that's really helping me. Before the Photoshop, when I paint the big painting, I gotta paint the little color study for the oil painting because I get some idea for the color study from the photo transition to the painting. But right now, I don't need it because the Photoshop, they really helping me to create my own style for the color. So that's the animation helping my fine art. I really appreciate the animation. I learned a lot.
So you guys, both of you, been working in animation for a long time. Is there anything you miss since you are not working in animation anymore?
Well, basically, I really love the working for the animation because I can meet the whole group of people, and I can get the fresh idea in the studio. But also, I really enjoy I painted the fine art because I can enjoy every day. I can stay home and I can do whatever I want to do. The big difference between the animation and the fine art. For the animation background painting, it's just the background. The subject is the character, right? You got it to working for the character, but the oil paintings, no. The painting is the whole thing. You have the focal point, the subject. That's the struggling point for me when I move from the animation to the fine art because sometimes when I think about too much animation, then the painting, when I work on it, no subject, just the background. So that's a big different thing.
Yeah.
To me, working for animation and fine art is really came in hand naturally. Even I spend more time on my work because both business require concentration if you want to do the good job. I learned it from another experience from my life. I like swimming. I just know a coach taught a swimmer just kicking. It's very simple, but kicking can be variety of different kick. 1 minute, 60 kick, very intensive, like 100 kick to 20 kick to 10 kick per minute. If you learn the whole technique of kicking, you can adapt to different situation when racing. I think I got the idea from that swimming lesson. I think the same principle applied to my art career. No matter how complicated the painting it is, I can shrink into 2x3 size. I look at upside down, sideways. I don't know what is it, but as long as I read quickly, I know it's a good design because that's what I learned from animation. My boss told me, every design have to achieve the effect of quick read. What a quick read mean? That means a 4-value or 3-value design where you have to be very clear, eliminated any unnecessary transition value. That force you to think, simplify the design. It makes your painting much more inviting. That's what I learned from animation. For example, TV network and Warner Brothers, a Marvel studio. Most of the show like a very simplified, simple value structure, just like what I mentioned, like a 4 or 5 or 4-3 value. Very simple color, variation or different saturation. They emphasize on design versus Disney feature and Pixar. Full value, full color, very complex to make. Also, they're 3D, right? Each frame spend much more time, much more budget to make versus TV show, like a limited budget, but have to require quick read. My experience helping me jumping in between this feature show and TV show that helped me a lot to make a balance to fit in my painting, my personal painting.
I have to ask more questions because we have several questions left from the audience. So I would want to know that do you guys would say you have a healthy work-life balance?
Because for us, younger people, we tend to work a lot. I know you guys definitely work a lot in your earlier days, and how now you guys all have families, have kids. Are you still working a lot? No.
Yeah. I have a really healthy working balance because you see, when I working fine up by myself in my studio, and that's why I love the teacher workshop because I can get a balance between my lonely time working by myself in the studio, then I can go out to teach the workshop around the country, around the world, and even I go to, you see, like a men's institute, a student thing with your guide, then I can keep the balance between the lonely time and the communication with the people. So I think I keep really good balance for my healthy working balance. The meeting with your guys, I can get a communication from the show, you see. That's a kind of balance for my lonely time. So that's really good.
Awesome. How about you, Saiping? Do you think you have a healthy work-life balance?
I think I have a similar point of view with Calvin because working on your home, basically everybody now. Are you working at home now, Nikita and Kil? Yeah, basically it doesn't matter. Now you work for studio, work for somebody, or working on your own as a fine artist. Everybody working at home now. But I find that teaching is a way to get out of my own studio, get a social life, so that I get fresh air, fresh idea from with my friend, with my student, with my peers. Also, I enjoy go out to paint with my friend because that's the way I can see I get a fresh idea from the nature. You limit yourself in the studio, eventually you run out of idea. I need to refresh my mind, get a fresh idea. So I enjoy make a balance between working in a studio and working outdoor. And also I like sports event. once I go back to still work, I can have a more concentration on my work. For example, I like swimming, really help me a lot. Now my kid has a volleyball game. I drop my son to volleyball game tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So, that's the way I get out of work, make a balance between my work life and family life, I don't want to be just painting, I have to spend some little time, take care of my family, my kids too.
I tell you some interesting thing. When I quit the animation in Nickelodeon, and I doing the fine art by myself at home, in the first couple months, I'm not get used to working by my own. I feel so lonely. I want to talk to the people, nobody I can talk. And I turn on the radio sometimes in the face to my wife, and I gotta get a little time for me to get used to working by myself. Or maybe if I back to the studio working for the animation, the face of the people every day, maybe I gotta get used to too. Yeah, the transition, not only the painting subject, even the mood is different.
Another question is, do you guys still have art blocks? How you guys usually overcome of the art blocks?
I have a lot of art block every single time. Too many art block. I tell you some story. Like last couple of days, I working for the La Papa premiere. Normally, the La Gula premiere gotta go to the location and paint from the line. But this time, because of coronavirus, everybody gotta walking in the studio because the La Gula Beach City, they doesn't allow the people to do the show for the premiere this time. So in my studio, I gotta doing the premiere, I gotta use the photo. Certainly, my feelings stuck. So how I juggling for the problem, I got to painting reference around my studio to get to remind him the feeling, remind him the idea, and how to continue to work on the same painting. Different time, different idea, and have a different problem to bug me. Every time when I struggling to figure out the problem, I feel so happy. Seems to overcome. I think that's the artist's life. So when they get a bug you, figure out the problem, jump up a little bit, then again I get a problem. Every time when I improve, overcome for the blocking, then the other blocking again. I think that's an interesting life must be go on. That's why you have to figure out the problem.
Since we don't have much time, I have one last question for you guys. So it's very cool to learn you guys' journey. And what's your final advice for our listener who we are on our own journey?
Well, just on my opinion, just first follow your heart. Learn as much you can. If you're young, if you don't have the experience, my advice, you go to working for animation is a good idea. Build up your skill, build up your knowledge of the business, and in the meantime, working on your own painting, working on your art. What you have to do is working harder, working wisely, spend your time working harder. Eventually, achieve your goal. Again, follow your heart.
Same thing. Try to follow the bottom of your heart to walking for it for you love to walk, to paint. Because if you want to do something better in the painting, you have to love it. If you don't have the idea, you don't have the really love for your painting, how the people that love your painting? It's no way. So you want the other people love your painting, you have to love your painting myself first.
I listened to Steve Jobs' speech for the Stanford University. The speech give very good inspiration. When you work for somebody, it provides a very good opportunity for those people that just get out of school. It's an opportunity to learn, to practice, to learn, absorbing the knowledge from some good artists. Also, to help you to create your own taste, to let you have a capability to identify what's a good art, what's a poor art, so that develop your own taste. Don't settle down until you find your something you really deeply you enjoy in your heart, because you don't want to spend your whole life on doing something you don't like.
Really good suggestions.
It was very inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. We love hearing from you. Feel free to write us a review on Apple Podcast or other platforms, leave us a comment on YouTube, or just message us on Instagram. If you want to support us, please consider donating on Gumroad. You'll find a link in the description. All right, see you again soon.